I spent 3 days at Lightbox Expo going to every world building and character design panel my schedule would allow. World Building 101, what makes a design iconic, building visual worlds, crafting stories for animation, designing characters for different styles, etc., 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 etc. I listened to experts who've worked for Disney, Sony, Dreamworks, Pixar, you name it, and I brought my trusty notebook to every single one because I had a mission. Figure out how to even begin to build a world. Here's what happened. They all kept saying the same things. Different people, different panels. So I started highlighting points that came up multiple times. And I realized these aren't just tips. These are the fundamental rules that actually matter. I'm Shavana, and this is Line Work and Lore. I'm a hobby illustrator, and this channel is me documenting my journey building fantasy worlds and original characters. Sometimes I'll be deep in a big world project. Other times I'll be creating standalone characters with their own mini worlds and stories. Basically, if it involves world building and storytelling, we're doing it here. This video is one of my first, so if you're into creating worlds, designing characters, or just love this stuff, subscribe because I'm sharing everything I learn. All right, let's break down these rules. And fair warning, a lot of this sounds like common sense, but it's the kind of common sense we forget the second we sit down to actually create. Rule number 1, and the most obvious, entertain your audience. Tell a good freaking story. It's easy to get so caught up in making something cool or pretty that you forget, does anyone actually care? Is there a story here? Everyone loves a good story. They've spanned time, cultures, and countries. Humans communicated through stories long before paper and pencil existed, much less movies. If you're going to remember one thing, it's this. People forget facts, but they remember stories. Real quick, if you're wondering, but how do I structure a story? 2 frameworks come to mind. 1, Joseph Campbell's Hero's Journey. He wrote a book explaining it all called The Hero with 1,000 Faces. George Lucas, Mr. Star Wars himself, used it. And framework 2, The Story Spine, which was developed by improv teacher Ken Adams and is used at Pixar. Links to the book and an explainer video or in the description below. Okay, now let's get back to it. Everything you do should push the story or serve the narrative. Again, let's have some substance besides it just being cool.
It's cool, but it's not right. Like, that's not K-pop. And I'm coming to the table with a lot of ignorance I gotta learn. This is like a new thesis for me to like jump into, and you guys were so patient and pointed me into references and things. And it was a big click where
Gina would not do this.
No. Yeah. Well, it's very like antithetical to the goal of K-pop, which is supposed to be the relationship with the fans and audience, and you need to feel like the dance moves are ones you can do with your friends as a group. And this is an individual's feat of athleticism, so it contradicts the whole goal.
Yeah. When you're building a world, you're solving a series of problems to present a cohesive story that we all can get swept up in. Don't be afraid to make it personal. Find a way to connect with the environment and the characters. Whether you're building one massive world or doing smaller story projects like I plan to. Make sure they actually interest you because you're going to be living in these worlds for a long time. Okay, next rule. Everyone said this. Do your research. As smart as you aren't going to know everything about everything. Use references. Get inspiration from history, nature, people, and the environments around you. With the rise of the internet, we have a wealth of info at our fingertips. Pro tip from Sandra, who I met during the Ian McCaig demo. Many museums have their catalogs online. Not only that, some also document lectures and historian interviews. If you're able to take it up another level, visit a museum. Personally, I love museums and try to visit one whenever I travel. Now, if you're balling on a budget like me, check ahead of time for deals or free museum days. When I lived in Chicago, I could check out museum passes on my library card. Oh, I miss those days. Okay, I can't stress this enough. Get a free card from your local library. It's another great source for research, and yes, folks, We're kicking it old school and talking actual physical books. Not everything can be found online. Special collections are gold mines. Now, pro tip, check surrounding cities too. Texas residents can get a free Houston library card without living in Houston. More access equals more research fuel. Oh, okay. I'm off my soapbox and back to the point. Do your research and then make it your own. Use it to inspire your ideas and then take it further. Make it epic. Even something that seems novel has some historical basis. Victor Martinez called being iconic nostalgia based in newness. Is it relatable? Jared Morant said it has to be familiar in order for it to be iconic. Become a research dragon and start hoarding info with rule number 3. Build your personal reference library. Don't just look and then discard info, collect it. Record your sources and for goodness sake, keep it organized. Ready for this next one? I heard it from at least 6 different people. Details. Details matter. But this is the catch. They come at the end after you've figured out the layers of your world. There's a whole process here. You work from general to detailed, simple to complex. In terms of world building, you start with the establishing shot and then you keep narrowing your focus. Let's talk macro, meso, I just learned that word, and micro. Macro, what's the overall look? Is it a vast desert, a modern city, a toxic wasteland, or a dark forest? Is it peaceful, beautiful, or dangerous? How's the weather? Is it a character in your story like mine is? What does it look like in the day or at night? Gallier recommends creating fictional landmarks. It gives your world a unique identity and helps to make it instantly recognizable. Think Hogwarts in Harry Potter or the Stark Tower in Iron Man. Okay, meso. Narrow it down some more. My notes say put streets or trees in your scenes, ? I'm betting it's supposed to be streets. Gallier asked, what does it look like when the garbage truck leaves? People are messy and create waste. How do they function in your world? The way they eat, sleep, relax, work, and dress all tell a story and should push your narrative. Is life luxurious or sparse? Do they need to eat quickly because lingering is dangerous? Or is it quick because they need to get back to work in a world where efficiency is king? Okay, micro. You've narrowed down your focus so much that now you're designing the cup your character is drinking out of. Another pro tip from Gallier, I hope I'm saying his name right, form shouldn't override the function. Is it easy to use? And if it isn't, is that on purpose? Is it functional in your world's reality? Can it actually exist the way you've designed it? Or does it need some magic tech or explanation? There are exceptions to every rule. And again, according to Gallier, you can be impractical if no one notices. By the way, if you're finding any of this helpful so far, please hit the like button. Let's switch to creating characters. They say start simple, then get detailed. If you've taken a drawing class, you've probably heard,
start by simplifying things into basic shapes. Then we'll learn how to make shapes dynamic and interesting, the importance of silhouettes, and several projects along the way leading us to designing our own characters.
Some artists use the letters of the alphabet as reference. Ed Natividad talked about starting with the letter T. Some use shapes and patterns from nature, biomimicry. Jared Morantz was initially inspired by the shape of a hammerhead shark in his Steppenwolf concept design for Justice League. Okay, this next rule goes hand in hand with simplicity. Clarity. Can your design be understood, especially at different sizes? Several experts spoke about reducing their drawings to thumbnails to check legibility and identify errors. In order for a design to be iconic, it has to exist in its roughest original form. It's better to tackle issues early on. If there's a problem in the beginning, it will not magically disappear as you continue working if you don't address it. After you've got a solid base, then dive into the details. Go crazy.
Him and his character team had to do every little detail, so start from a concept like this And then in each show, one of our artists would break down these details and make sure everything is like, nothing on this movie has not been touched with like just the most attention to detail.
So you know that Rumi patch? We just sent it to legal with one R, and they're like, no, you can't do this. And we're like, really? So I literally sat there and I was like, Rumi. I didn't even know how many R's there were, and they were like, okay, this is good, and it just became a thing.
I think Mira's T-shirt, the writing on there.
Oh yeah. We went through I think 3 or 4 different, just to get through legal.
And then each costume has its unique makeup look and nails. So
there's a lot of things to track.
Yeah.
I think they made 75 different outfits. 75. Just like everything else, the details you add should enhance the story. During the whole process, take time to experiment, incorporate your research, be curious, iterate, push your designs to their limits. You may be surprised what you end up with.
One of our biggest inspirations for the film was K-pop, not just K-pop, but like editorial photography, like fashion photography from Vogue and Vanity Fair, and designers like Givenchy and McQueen and Mugler. Those were the references that we would pull for certain looks. For the gear up look, we sent Scott Watanabe the Mugler kind of, I don't know if you guys are familiar, but they're very skin tight with these kind of cutout windows and stuff, and so I'm sure he took inspiration from that. And even the gold outfits, the kind of armor that Zoe has, that's actually a nod to McQueen and stuff, but also we took inspiration from Korean armor. So we incorporated a lot of traditional elements and then mixed in the fashion elements as well, and kind of created our own unique look that could be both fashionable and look have the girls look like warriors. So.
Here's a cautionary tale. Remember that infamous Game of Thrones coffee cup incident set in a medieval fantasy world with a modern Starbucks cup? It broke the illusion instantly, which brings us to our next rule. Be consistent. Does everything you've created look like it exists in the same world? This is where repeating shapes, textures, and patterns can be helpful. Understand how objects relate to one another. Next rule, show scale. Show your characters interacting in their environments. Are they a bored queen being forced to have dinner in a humongous banquet hall? Or are they a jolly giant happily sipping tea in a tiny cottage? College too, I guess. Whose view are we seeing? Think about elevation changes. Not every scene has to be on the ground. Incorporate different angles and perspective. Now, this next one can be very painful, I know, especially for creatives. Get feedback. But don't just get any feedback. Get feedback from people you trust. It could be friends and family members, fellow artists, industry experts, if you're lucky, or a select group of people in your target demo. The problem with being immersed in your own stuff is that you know what you meant. It needs to make sense to your audience or someone who isn't familiar with what you're doing. Pro tip, have a compelling elevator pitch. This is definitely something I need to work on. Be able to describe your world and concept in 30 seconds. Have 3 to 5 images that can visually sum it up as well. I'm gonna be honest, this last one hit me hard. I heard several stories about artists experiencing a health crisis that affected their ability to create art, young and old. Some recovered quickly while others are still working through it. You never know what can happen, so just make it and share what you create. Life is short. You don't want to look back regretting that you didn't develop that personal project, or that you did and it's just sitting in a storage closet somewhere, never to be seen. Your vision matters. Personally, I put off starting because I kept saying to myself, I need to be a better artist before I attempt something this big. Truth is, I could be on that learning journey forever and never start. I'm definitely not getting any younger. Actually, I turned 39 tomorrow. And 10 years from now, I want to have original work that I can look back on and be proud of. Okay, I know that was a lot. So to recap, here's what the experts said on repeat. 1, storytelling. Entertain your audience, and everything you create should support the story. 2, do your research. 3, build your personal reference library. 4, details matter in the end of your process. 5, design with clarity. 6, be consistent. 7, show scale. 8, get feedback. And 9, just make it and share it. And here's what I'm taking away from all this. These rules are key whether you're building one massive world or a bunch of smaller projects. They're foundational. They're the stuff we can forget when we get caught up in making things look cool. So on this channel, I'll be taking these rules and applying them. Sometimes I'll be working on my main fantasy world. Other times I'll be designing standalone characters or mini worlds with their own stories. Whatever I'm creating, you're going to see the process. The research, the sketches, the iterations, probably some failures, probably a lot of failures. If you want to follow along, hit subscribe. This is like video 2 of Line Work and Lore, so you're here at the start. Please drop a comment. I want to know what you're working on. Are you building a world, a character, or are you in the I have ideas but nothing on paper yet phase? Because same. No judgment, same. Thanks for watching, and remember, it's never too late to create, unless you're dead. I'll see you in the next one. Peace.